You replay the moment for days. In the shower, in the car, at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling. That moment where you finally think of the perfect sentence, the line that would have crushed them, the response that would have flipped the power completely. But you didn't say it. You froze. You reacted emotionally. And the moment you reacted, you lost. Because the world lied to you. It taught you that arguments are about logic, that if you explain yourself clearly enough, if you present the facts, people will understand. That is not truth. Arguments are not about truth. They're about dominance. They are about who controls the frame. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew human beings are not rational creatures. We are emotional, hierarchical animals. We don't respect the person who is right. We respect the person who remains in control. Most people collapse in conflict. They defend. They justify. They raise their voice. They explain themselves into weakness. They hand over their power because they want to be understood. But you are not here to be understood. You are here to be respected. Today, this is not about better communication. This is about dismantling psychological control without raising your voice. I'm giving you 7 verbal weapons, 7 responses that don't just end arguments, they sever the other person's leverage over you. These are not clever comebacks. These are psychological circuit breakers. And the 7th one is the nuclear option. A phrase so final, it doesn't just silence the room, it permanently changes the hierarchy of the relationship. But understand this first. Once you learn this, you will never see interactions the same way again. You won't feel heat. You'll feel cold clarity. And in that cold, you'll find power. Let's begin. Response number 1, the benevolent spotlight. Are you okay? When someone attacks you, it's almost never about the topic. Anger is camouflage. It hides fear, insecurity, loss of control. They want you emotional. They want chaos. Machiavelli warned never to fight on enemy terrain. So don't fight. Redirect. When they raise their voice or try to humiliate you, do not defend yourself. Do not address their words. Address their emotional state. Pause. Hold eye contact. 2 seconds. Then calmly say, "Are you okay? You seem really upset." This breaks the pattern. They expected resistance. They got concern. You reframed them as unstable and yourself as grounded. If they continue yelling, they confirm your diagnosis. Power never screams. Response number 2, the dead end. That's an interesting perspective. Some people argue for sport. They provoke to feel superior. They need friction. Machiavelli taught that fighting battles with no profit is weakness. So you cut the fuel. When they finish their rant, you don't debate. You don't correct. You don't react. You say, "That's an interesting perspective," and then you disengage. You look away. You return to what you were doing. You acknowledge their words, but denied them importance. It is polite on the surface and dismissive underneath. They will try again. Let them. Repeat the wall. Eventually they stop. Not because they agree, but because you are no longer a source of supply. Being boring to a manipulator is protection. Response number 3, the analytical pause. Silence. Silence terrifies people. When someone insults you or tries to corner you, do nothing. Look at them. Count to 4. That silence creates pressure. Their mind starts racing. Did I go too far? Why aren't they reacting? You just seized the frame. If you speak, say, "Can you repeat that?" Now they must say it again without momentum. Insults collapse when repeated. They either soften it or retreat. Time is a weapon. Use it. Response number 4, the agreement trap. You're right. When someone attacks your character, they expect resistance. Don't give it to them. Agree calmly. You're right. I am being difficult. Say it without sarcasm. By accepting the label, you remove its power. Then pivot. I'm difficult about this because it matters. So what's the solution? You showed emotional immunity and control over outcomes. Only secure people can admit flaws without collapsing. This confuses attackers. They wanted a fight. You gave them gravity. Response number 5. Intent exposure. What's your goal here? Passive aggression relies on ambiguity. Remove it. When someone hides insults as jokes or criticism, stop them. Ask directly, what are you trying to achieve with that comment? If they say it's a joke, say, explain it. I don't understand. Now they must justify cruelty. The mask comes off. You exposed the strategy. Machiavelli said one must be a fox to recognize traps. This question snaps the trap shut. Response number 6. Disappointment. I expected better. Anger is hot. Disappointment is cold. Anger says equal. Disappointment says authority. When someone betrays trust or acts small, don't yell. Lower your voice. Pause. Then say, I thought you were better than this. That sentence hits shame, not ego. Then withdraw. Leave them alone with it. Now they chase your approval. Soft power always outlasts force. Use it sparingly. Response number 7. The nuclear option. I don't care enough to argue. Some people feed on conflict. As long as you engage, they win. The final move is withdrawal. Look at them calmly and say, you can believe whatever you want. I don't care enough to argue. Then leave. This isn't surrender. This is disqualification. You remove them from relevance. For attention seekers, this is psychological death. They will shout after you. Don't turn back. Your silence establishes dominance. Machiavelli wrote, it is safer to be feared than loved. In this context, feared means respected. It means they know you have boundaries, discipline, and self-control. These responses only work if your energy is calm. Low heart rate, still eyes. They escalate. You slow down. That contrast is power. Beat a mountain. Most people live as leaves, moved by others' emotions. Cut the strings. Stop explaining. Stop defending. Observe. Decide. Speak once. Then let silence do the work. The paradox is this. The more willing you are to end the conversation, the more control you have over it. The less you chase victory, the more often you win. Society wants you reactive. Reactive people are easy to control. Don't be reactive. Be strategic. Power is never loud. It never rushes. It never explains itself twice. The people who dominate social situations are not the most intelligent, the most logical, or the most correct. They are the ones who control their nervous system when everyone else loses theirs. Conflict is not won with words. It is won with state. Your calm is not politeness. It is a weapon. When someone realizes they cannot provoke you, cannot rush you, cannot pull emotion out of you, their leverage disappears. This is why reactive people are predictable. Press the right button and they explode. But the person who has no visible buttons becomes dangerous. You must understand this deeply. The moment you stop needing to win verbally is the moment you gain authority psychologically. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. Pressure exposes intent. Time destroys weak positions. When you stay still, the other person starts leaking information. They over-explain. They justify. They contradict themselves. They give away their insecurity for free. And insecurity is the real weakness. Machiavelli never advised constant confrontation. He advised selective engagement. You do not respond to everything. You do not correct everyone. You do not chase clarity from people committed to chaos. You let them speak. You let them show you who they are. Then you decide if they deserve access to you. Most don't. This is where people fail. They think strength means endurance. It doesn't. Strength means choice. Choosing when to engage. Choosing when to withdraw. Choosing when to let someone sit alone with their behavior. You don't need to dominate every room. You only need to control your own presence. When you enter a space calmly and leave without explanation, people feel the loss. When you stop rewarding disrespect with attention, it starves. When you stop reacting, manipulation collapses. This is why emotional discipline scares people. They cannot read you. They cannot predict you. They cannot control you. And what cannot be controlled is quietly respected. The goal was never to win arguments. The goal was to exit them intact, unmoved, untouched, while the other person carries the emotional cost alone. This is how hierarchy forms naturally, not through force, not through volume, but through restraint. The most powerful move you will ever make is not what you say. It is what you refuse to respond to. When you master that, you stop playing defense in life. You stop being dragged into other people's storms. You become the still point everything moves around. And once you become that, people adjust their behavior automatically. Not because you demanded respect, but because your presence requires it. Control is decided before words are spoken. The person who enters calm already owns the outcome. This is why emotional people lose before the argument even begins. They think they are reacting to the moment, but in reality, they are revealing themselves. Every flinch is information. Every defense is a confession. The one who stays composed forces the other to perform, and performance always leaks weakness. You never need to expose someone directly. Give them time. Pressure plus silence does the work for you. People betray themselves when they feel unseen, unchallenged, and unresolved. This is why restraint is more dangerous than aggression. Aggression warns. Restraint invites mistakes. Most people are addicted to closure. They need the last word. They need to feel heard. They need emotional resolution. Deny them that, and they unravel. You are not obligated to complete conversations that drain you. You are not required to validate chaos. Walking away is not avoidance. It is filtration. Only those who respect your calm deserve your engagement. Everyone else gets distance. And distance rewrites power. When someone realizes you don't need their agreement, their approval loses value. When they realize you don't chase explanation, their confusion becomes theirs to carry. This is the quiet shift where authority forms. Not through intimidation, but through emotional independence. The strongest position in any interaction is the one that can leave without damage. No apologies, no justification, no aftermath, just absence. Absence forces reflection. It removes the mirror people use to regulate themselves. Without your reaction, they are left alone with their own energy. Some will adjust. Some will resent. Both outcomes work in your favor. Because respect doesn't come from being understood. It comes from being untouchable. When your emotional center stops moving, people move around you differently. They choose their words carefully. They test less. They hesitate. Not because you threatened them, but because they cannot read you. And what cannot be read cannot be controlled. This is the end of reactive living. This is where you stop being shaped by environments and start shaping them. You don't raise your voice. You don't assert dominance. You simply stop participating in dynamics that diminish you. That decision alone changes everything. Most people misunderstand power. They think it's about imposing will. It's not. It's about making others adjust without you asking. When your reactions disappear, people start negotiating with themselves. They replay their own words. They question their tone. They soften before you ever speak. This is psychological gravity. You didn't push them there. They fell on their own. The mistake people make is trying to be dominant through performance. Louder voice, sharper words, strong posture. That's theater. Real authority is invisible. It's felt, not displayed. It shows up in how little you need from the interaction. When you don't need agreement, validation, or resolution, you operate from surplus. Surplus always outranks need. The person who needs the conversation more is already beneath it. This is why control is internal before it is external. If someone can disturb your emotional state, they control you temporarily. If no one can, you are structurally free. Freedom changes behavior. You stop rushing replies. You stop correcting minor disrespect. You stop explaining your decisions, not out of arrogance, but because explanation is a concession. It signals that your choices require approval. They don't. You also stop rescuing awkward moments. Silence becomes intentional, not accidental. You let pauses stretch. You let others fill them. What fills silence is always truth. People reveal motives when they feel pressure to perform. They reveal insecurity when they talk too much. They reveal hostility when they can't tolerate calm. Your job is not to manage their emotions. Your job is to manage access to you. Access is the real currency. Attention is expensive. Once people realize your attention is selective, behavior improves without confrontation. Some will respect it. Others will resent it. Respect creates alignment. Resentment creates distance. Both protect you. You also begin to notice patterns others miss. Who speaks only when they feel threatened? Who escalates when they feel small? Who jokes to mask contempt? Awareness replaces reaction, and awareness is leverage. You no longer get pulled into emotional narratives. You observe structure instead. Who benefits from this argument? Who gains status from this conflict? Who loses if nothing happens? When you ask those questions internally, the urge to engage fades. You see the machinery behind the noise. That's when arguments lose their hypnotic effect. You're not inside the storm anymore. You're watching it. And from that position, your responses become surgical. Few words, clean exits, no residue. Over time, this changes how people treat you before conflict even starts. They test less. They explain more. They approach carefully. Because they sense something different. Not aggression, not intimidation, detachment. And detachment unsettles those who rely on emotional control. You become unpredictable in the right way. Calm where others expect reaction. Silent where others expect defense. Gone where others expect pursuit. This is how you end cycles without confrontation. This is how you win without fighting. Not by overpowering people, but by removing yourself from their leverage entirely. When there is nothing to grab, nothing to provoke, nothing to extract, the game ends, and you walk forward untouched.